Let's call on Anupam Gupta, who's actually been on the show a couple of times, and for some reason has come back. He's in Bandra. He's bored. He's irritated. Not in a great mood, and he's already telling me that I'm a loser for staying in South Mumbai with my parents. I should have gone forward and at least crossed the Worli ceiling. Anupam, lots to talk about, but Ambi Parameswaram, let's just call him Ambi with the P. He couldn't make it for some reason. A pricey bugger, yaar. Really giving us trouble. And him have done a show called, let me see, I've got it here somewhere. It's your new Last Brand Standing. That's right, Last Brand Standing. It's your new podcast. You, of course, been a guest on many different shows. You're one of those guys. You're like the Norm Macdonald of the financial podcast world. You're on all the other podcasts. They use you because you always are paisa vasool for them, not to be ironic. And now you've got your own show called Last Brand Standing. We're going to start with that. But before that, how have you been? That's my question. That's it. How have you been?
All good. I just won the Oscars for the best podcast of the year. And I am also going to be moving out of Bandra West. Plan to come to your neck of the hood, Just just
What do you
just
say?
picked up a building out there. And
Wow. Where?
yeah. It's somewhere near President, somewhere near Kolaba, somewhere near there.
Is it Antilla?
No, that's slightly north, and it's okay यार. वहाँ traffic jam बहुत
Okay,
होता
so
है.
you said Kolaba. Okay, अच्छा ठीक है. वो अब पहाड़ भी है, चढ़ना
And
पड़ेगा. Why do you want to get into all that? Kolaba is
see,
flat
that's
land.
that's the reason. That's the reason why I'm not at Pali Hill out here. That's exactly the reason. Bad on my knees.
Anupam,
I'm getting old. Who's
you're
going to climb up, climb
joking
down?
about this. I have always said that don't go on any inclines. Buildings that are inclines.
Hmm.
Sooner or later you're going to be walking. Sooner or later you'll be walking up and down. It'll happen even once a month if it happens, and you'll regret it. It's like people who don't have lifts in their building till today. Yes, in South Mumbai where the poor live, we have these situations, 3, 4 floor ka buildings, and they don't have a lift, and the person on the fourth floor is now 79. He never wants to
Uh,
go home. He's the only guy who never wants to go home. But are you really
I
buying
get
something
you.
in South Bombay?
I am. Come on. A podcast are big money, Cyrus. You've made your first $1 billion dollars, by the way, with podcasts. I recently made about $500 million with this new podcast that we've got. So I thought, hey, why not just buy a building? Yeah.
You're like I get your cryptic sarcasm because you're like a younger version of my wife. 'Cause everything I do, she criticizes
I'm
me in
fe-
this way. "Ah,
I'm
you're
feeling
too the
creepy
greatest.
right now.
I just
Let
the
me.
greatest comedian in India, man. You just make a phone call, it'll happen. It'll be like that. When you were looking for the vaccine, so just say it's Cyrus Brocha, it'll be done. That kind of lack of respect. Very nice, very nice. Great way to start the morning.
Yeah.
But before we get into the podcast, no, honestly, tell me because markets going up and down, and of course everybody's in tune with trying to find out what's happening. And a very strange thing. I mean, we must have spoken about it. The first pandemic things really went bad and went down, etc. It took us a while to come back up and all that. But this second pandemic, it's almost like the markets remained happy, and we didn't really have a dip at any point. And right now, it's almost the best it's ever been. So
Yeah.
what's going on? What's the correlation factor here? We all thought कि pandemic, commerce बंद हो जाएगा, trade बंद हो जाएगा. अभी क्या? कुछ नहीं बंद हो गया.
Man, that's a tough one, man. I mean, we are in September right now, right? I mean, we're almost in October. I don't
October
know when this
almost though.
episode. Yeah, I don't know when this episode will air.
It's right now on live.
Oh, it's
You can call your friends and say happy birthday. It's on now. It's like a
it.
cricket match that no one watches. Huh?
The one lesson for me since last March was that things don't have to make sense really here. I mean, and this market didn't crack, didn't do anything, and you'll find 10 people with 10 different explanations. The Indian economy is going to do well, etc., etc. The way I rationalize it is, listen, the stock market is too tiny for it to matter for India. It's like it just consists of how many people. There are hardly any investors out there. Most of them obviously would have benefited with this. Of course, it's much bigger than what it used to be at one point of time. But if you look at the market, you look at the economy. Come on, there's it's tempting to say that the market follows the economy, but that happens over the long term, 10 years. And even that has not been proven so far. Why did it go up? Why was it resilient? Popular explanation that I have got is look at the economy. Nothing really went wrong out there, right? Which I feel is it sounds indifferent, it sounds callous, it sounds apathetic.
In many sectors, jobs were cut. Let's face it. Definitely, people took cuts in paychecks and things like that, or lost the job altogether. That did happen, and in
That's
different
actually
classes of society, it happened even worse. Let's say, without getting into details. So what? So there is.
That's a very good point. There are two things out here. One is that, this Nifty Sensex that you see is basically just 50 companies or 30 companies, and the entire market itself consists of, I don't know, maybe 5,000, 6,000 companies that are listed. Okay. So the first thing is that, whereas India's labor, if you see, is unorganized. 80% of India's labor is unorganized. Those are the guys who felt the pain. Those visuals you saw last year of people going back, stuff like that. Second is, listen, if salaries are cut, guess who's profiting? The companies. Okay. And when the companies cut their costs, the profits go up, profit goes up, stock price goes up.
Balance sheet ठीक है is what you're saying. Balance sheet is
No, man,
unaffected.
come on. No, balance sheet actually has been really good because some companies that have actually profited have paid off their debt. And that was one thing that was there in the Indian market. Ki, Arey baba, balance sheet ka fata haal hai, ye hai, wo hai. But people have paid off their debt. Balance sheets are looking good. When you cut costs, when you cut salaries, when you lay off people, profits have gone up. So if you look at the profitability trends in this last 4-6 quarters, man, profits have boomed. People are like, wow, when did that happen? I mean, try and now that hopefully the second wave is over, try and do your house up. If you're someone who wants to do the interiors, the price of ply, the price of paint, the price of wires, all have gone up. And when that goes up, profits go up, so the market goes up.
Damn it, this pandemic is horrible. It's much worse than I thought.
No, it was. I mean, come on.
I can't paint my house. What you're saying is the markets didn't go down and I can't paint my house. There's nothing good coming out of it.
And people are buying houses right, left, and center. Anyway, good. Let's move on.
No, there's a last question on the whole thing. So, is it like a honeymoon period? Is it like an unnatural scoreline? And that is suddenly, a lot of people also say this, that it will at some time dip because we seem to have survived this whole second rush or second innings. And how does that? I mean, are we being too optimistic?
No, see, I don't know. And honestly, the way that I look at my money is that I only look at 10, 15, 20-year things. Yeah. These small things in the middle on it, they don't make a difference. Will it fall? Of course it will fall. Yeah. Markets fall, markets rise, markets fall. Whether it falls 5%, whether it falls 10%, it really doesn't matter. Because if you look at the history of the Nifty and the Sensex, there are plenty of times the markets have fallen 5, 10, even 20%. And, they've just gone on and just moved on in life. So, of course they will fall, and then of course they will rise. It's a big deal. It doesn't really matter.
Anupam, before we go to last man standing, one personal question, and I understand you can be all lawyered up and say kuch na kehna hai ya kuch na kehna hai.
Disclaimers, yeah.
Disclaimers. Did you do well in the last year? You would say personally,
from the podcast perspective, I think I got a lot of love. Man. I mean,
when you said
I
podcast,
just tweeted out.
laughing.
I just tweeted, well, what do you think I do for a living any which way? I think, there was a time back in 2017 when I started this podcast and I would struggle to get guests. And now I have episodes till the end of this year. And all thanks to IVM, thanks to my producers, thanks to Amit, thanks to the entire team. I have people coming in now saying that we want to record. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. The earliest I can give you is maybe Jan, Feb, March. And even then, I've got a list of waiting people.
So you become like a fancy restaurant in the West where the waiting period is 5 months to get a table.
And there is no menu. There is no price on the right hand side. Remember Zodiac Grill? You should just go in, enjoy the food, and there is no price out there.
There must have been some chutia out there who must have paid 5 rupees. Tell me, there has to be one guy, shameless guy, who said, "Theek tha yaar khana, 5 rupiya."
Well, and it's also the Zodiac Grill, and they would have just shrugged, saying, "हाँ boss, होता है, ऐसा भी लोग आते रहते हैं अपने यहाँ पे." So yeah, I mean, from the podcast perspective, the year was good. From the market perspective, it doesn't really matter, right? Because I don't, whatever I have, I don't really go and sell, or I don't trade, or I don't do anything of that sort. I am writing a new book, so at least that's also something to look forward to. But yeah, it's also been a very tough year. All of us have people who we've lost, and we've lost a lot of, there were people. So it can never be a good year. This past year for most of India has been absolutely and totally horrible. What we are facing right now, thankfully, is, let's hope that things get better. It has to be a tough year, man, for all of us.
Famous stockbroker Charles Dickens wrote, right? And Great Expectations, if I remember correctly, the opening line, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It's one of those paradoxes. Yeah, because things look really bad, but then again, there are these things that cheer you up. But now let's get back to last brand standing. The Anupam Gupta print with Ambi Parameswaran. And I got it right this time.
You did get it right this time, yeah.
I did. He's going to be really pissed he didn't come on the show. Yeah. So a little feed into that. Last brand standing.
So here's the thing, man. A lot of people in this last 1-2 years have jumped into the stock market, and they're like, I'm opening an SIP, I'm doing a mutual fund, I'm interested in stocks. And I was like, okay, listen, guys, let's take a step back. Do you even know about the history of companies in India? All of us rave and rant about all the companies back there in the US and how they are great. Pepsis and Cokes and Nikes and Apples and Googles and Facebooks. Do you guys actually know about the rich history that we have out here sitting in this country? Not a lot of people know that, and I think that's damn bloody sad. So I spoke to Ambi, He's the guy who's got all these insights on marketing and brands and stuff like that. Mera kya boss? I am just a markets person. So the two of us sat and said, okay, let's just make a list of maybe top 5, top 6, top 10 brand versus brand wars and all that. So that's where the idea began. We thought that we'll try and get in some drama, and we know that there have been a lot of interest battles that have been fought by Indian companies. Yeah, and we just put it out there. We've got 2 auto companies.
Give us an example of what was already done. Obviously.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we recorded 6 episodes, and honestly, I thought we'll do it for time pass. Who's going to listen these days? People look at Netflix and Prime and all that to get their stuff. Kaun sunega? So we just recorded for the heck of it. But again, we got lucky. Again, thanks to IVM, we got a good sponsor. So here are the 6 episodes that we did. We did 2 auto companies, right? That's Tata Motors and Maruti. That's as Indian as you can get. You had the Indica. I don't know if you were there in 2000. This whole Ratan Tata dream of having a car.
Brother, my neighbor has an Indica. It was my drinking gaadi. We used to take it out because agar by mistake accident ho jaye, to the least with due respect. That was the thinking. Huh?
Back in 1999, my friend had an Indica. It stalled on one of those, very Bombay rainy nights. When it rains, it just fucking pours. And you can't just. Sorry, I use an F-bomb out there. I hope that's fine.
No, taking on Tata Empire is more dangerous. Don't worry about the F-bomb. Go on.
Okay, sorry. And we were pushing that car. We thought it was in gear, and that's why it was not moving. But it was in neutral, and still it was not moving. It was that heavy. Anyway, so that's Tata Motors versus Maruti. The time when Maruti had, the small car battle. They had the Zen, and you had the Indica. So that was number 1. And then we followed that up with Bajaj Auto versus Hero Honda. We rolled back 30 years. The whole
that was a great fight.
There you go. Philip Charlotte, forget it. You would remember that when we used to have singles. So when we used to have scooters, you needed to bend the scooter and get the thing going, and you had to wait for all those years to even get the Chetak here. Come on, So we went into that and how
my dad had a Lambretta right till his marriage. Listen, we have a lot of respect for scooters here. Huh.
Yeah, that's what. So the whole scooters versus motorcycles and 4-stroke stuff. So you had 2 on the auto sector. You had 2 in the FMCG sector. You had.
So do you have like a winner when you have this discussion? Is there like a winner? You look at the brand performance, etc., or the intangible products we have. How do you make a winner?
Yeah. We go into depth there. We talk about market shares. We talk about revenues. We talk about if the stock is listed. We talk about market cap. So in the Tata Motors versus Maruti, we knew that Tata Motors won the first round, right? But they couldn't sustain that in the long term because you can't. How do you battle someone who's got like 6 models? Maruti had like the Zen, the Wagoner, the this, the that, and look the Alto, and look at those cars. 1000cc engines. They'll give you like averages of what 12, 13, 14, 15, depending on whether you have an AC or not. And you've got this hulk of an Indica, okay. And I know people who loved cars, loved the Indica, okay, because it was roomy, it was spacious, it had power, it had everything that you would want in a small car. It was like, and the Tatas went in with their heart into this one. Long term, obviously, it didn't work out, but they won that round. They, can say they won the battle, lost the war. Bajaj Auto versus.
But can you answer this question? Who wrote the Indica?
Who wrote the Indica?
The famous Greek.
I don't know that one.
Megasthenes. Okay,
that is a bit of trivia. I had no idea about that bit of trivia.
Can't buy the Indica without knowing who wrote it.
Yeah. So then, then we went into Bajaj Auto versus Hero Honda. We know that Hero Moto, as it's called now, won that war by a distance. Bajaj really.
But Bajaj had such a fantastic name going into the fight. Like in my 80s growing up and all, in the Bajaj shares for that matter, they were like gold from what I remember. Bajaj Auto shares.
They did fantastic. So, and Bajaj threw everything they could at Hero at that point of time in the 100cc segment, right? But you can't, that's Japanese technology, averages of what, 50, 60, 70, man. 50, 60, it would just sell on the name. You just buy the Splendor. The Splendor became the largest selling motorcycle in the world, okay?
What are you saying? Hero Honda Splendor?
It is. Yeah, largest selling motorcycle in the world, man. Come on, it's like, until date. You can't match that. And Bajaj threw whatever it could. So again, lost the battle, probably also lost the war, at least in that segment. And then, of course, we know that Bajaj came back when the whole Doom thing happened. And your power bikes, you had the Pulsar, right? And the Pulsar picked up. Pulsar was a big thing, right? So again, same thing, one loss, whatever. So auto sector ho gaya. Then we had FMCG. We had HUL versus Nirma. Like HUL had that whole washing powder, the whole washing powder Nirma thing, right?
Washing powder Nirma, powder Nirma.
Here's this
Sorry, I get so excited. Some of my favorite ads growing up. Yeah.
How do you take on Surf? It's like, pricey product out there, FMCG, they've
Lalita
got
ji.
distributors all over. Lalita ji, there you go. They've got distributors all over the country. And there's this one Gujju businessman, going door to door, selling this Thailik wala, Safed wala Nirma, and it was a hit. They just took on Lever and they won, man. What a battle that was. It was amazing. It was just phenomenal.
No. You're saying Nirma outsold Surf?
It took market share by storm, right? Till, of course, again, Levers got their act together and, again, long term. So they
Because
kind of,
all that branding of Surf, which is so iconic.
yeah,
I love the Nirma ad. It stays in my
yeah,
head forever.
yeah.
But it's nothing compared to the publicity that Surf got.
Which is why Levers
growing up.
eventually came back, made some adjustments, adjusted the product, got the price down, and they took on Nirma, and eventually they won. Where is Nirma today, by the way? It's not there anyway. Guess what? The founder of Nirma has now run a company called Nuvoco Vistas, which is a cement company, and they just listed on the stock market. Yeah. Right. So again, won the battle, lost the war. You can look at it in whichever way you want. Then we did ITC versus Britannia. Biscuit, yeah. Come on, Biscuit. How do you take on like Britannia again? Parsi company, by the way, like Tata Motors.
Yeah.
And they've got Good Day. They are so well established out there, Tiger Biscuits and all that. And then ITC comes from nowhere. A cigarette company launches FMCG, does biscuits, and again grabs market share out there. So again, two FMCGs.
Which ITC biscuit brand is it?
This was, I think, Sunfeast and Dark Fantasy and all that. All that stuff that they got, and people really liked it. And again, they did well. So what happens in this case is that you have someone with an 80% market share. Someone comes and takes in 10 to 20% market share. So this guy's 80 comes to 50, that guy gets 20, and everybody lives happily ever after. Okay, so two FMCG, two autos, and then two slightly different stuff. One was Indigo versus Jet. Right now, all of us remember the first time we flew Jet. This entire thing about the food from
Happy
Taj
days.
and those Imlis and all that, and actually paying and getting great service.
And flight arriving ahead of time, not the way it's padded now and they say ahead of time. Because
anybody
now it's 35
moving from,
minutes extra to,
and being someone of that era, you would remember East West Airlines, you would remember Modi Luft and all that. Nothing happened.
Yes, he got shot dead, the owner.
Unfortunately.
So sorry to spoil the podcast with such bad news.
Nothing happened out there. But when Jet came in, they just changed the entire game. They took flying into some kind of a premium experience, and everybody loved that. And then what? 5-6 years later, somewhere in 2010, these two guys come, buddies from the US, founded this company called Indigo Air, and they said, let's just junk all this. Let's take food out. Let's take everything out. Okay, and let's just ensure that planes can turn around really, really quickly. And low-cost airlines. There you go. Low-cost airlines. I mean, Bombay Delhi flights at what, $2,000 and all that. So again. And we know what happened to Jet. Of course, went completely and totally bankrupt, out of the window totally. And now, who knows? Maybe they're coming back also. So Indigo won that war.
They're being bought over, right? But there's still hope.
There is, yeah. And a couple of new people are also coming in. But that was aviation, man. Again, a very fun thing.
Why don't you and Ambi buy them, Anupam? You guys are doing well. You can buy Jet and restart it.
My money is stuck in a few buildings in South Bombay. Ambi, I think, is...
I want to know the builder who's giving you
Ambi, I think, owns a lot of land.
By the way, why did you go with the title Ambi Thambi Show? Ambi and Thambi. Would it have been...
He should be here, man. He should be here. But I'll let him answer that question, but he's not here. And then the last one, yeah.
Okay, but you one more brand.
Last one. Manyavar versus Raymonds. Imagine the complete man, the Raymonds man, and all of a sudden you've got this upstart from Calcutta, Marwadi guy comes in and he just does ethnic wear, man. And he takes everything by storm. Look at that. The guy does Sherwanis, the guy does everything. And all of a sudden, he's got like Virat Kohli and Anushka. He's got Ranveer Singh and Deepika. And Raymond is like, what just happened? But again, and now Manyavar is going for the IPO and stuff like that. So that was the first season. 6 episodes.
So they took away the market share from Raymond?
Again, same thing. They created a separate market for unorganized, for ethnic wear. Like if you remember in the old days, if you wanted a kurta or that kind of stuff, the ethnic wear, formal stuff, you'd probably go to some local shop nearby. These guys created a brand out of that. Like if you go to Phoenix, they've got this large ass store just opposite Phoenix. Go on.
But Raymond has a separate Indian wear section, if I remember correctly.
They had to start something, right? They had to start something after that. And even if they had it at that point of time, they basically sold the whole Western idea of a suit. And of course, Raymond's also did a lot of Indian stuff also. But their branding was the complete man. These guys came into all kinds of stuff. त्योहार है तो ये है तो वो है. So that was the
But
whole.
why didn't they go for negative advertising and attack the competitor and say the incomplete man? I mean, there's so many options. It's sad that they
We'll
didn't
let
become that.
somebody else do that, I guess. Yeah, we'll let somebody else do that. Yeah. But
You
yeah,
you let go of Pepsi and Coke. I would think that Pepsi
no.
and Coke would be there somewhere in the.
नहीं
How would
इंडिया
you?
वाला चाहिए रे बाबा इंडिया वाला चाहिए so I
The
we
India
we thought that we'll focus on slightly more
born
India
and bred here.
specific brands born and bred here, you know, although there was HUL and there was I mean okay there was, but
Hero Honda also is a merger.
Hero, yeah, but again Indian family, Japanese partners and all that, so we thought that let's just try and figure this out, because the Pepsi Coke war is global. What happens outside it'll happen out there. Pepsi, Coke, Nike, Reebok, all this stuff, you know, so there are enough places where you can learn and read about that. We just
And
thought that let's focus on Indian stuff.
Anupam, not to brag, but I'll tell you, MTV versus Channel V, we won the war. It's like India, Pakistan. It's very clear that we
Oh,
won
yeah,
both
yeah,
the
yeah.
wars, but the history books are all separate on the result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe that can be an idea for season 2. Yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, Channel V, wow, that was
Because
like
they had the power of Star, and Star pushed everything into them and all that. And we were just a one off at that time before Viacom came along and all. So, yeah, and we won it purely on distribution. One day, if you have the time, I'll tell you. Went to all the cable operators. I'm telling you now, after telling you one day, we went to the cable operators. I used to carry whiskey. I used to carry all kinds of things, south, north, east. These guys with guns in their pockets and all. Yeah, just go and chat with them. Make sure we got the distribution, which Mr. Sunil Ullah
amazing.
organized. That was the number one
Yeah.
important thing, to get the distribution and make sure that in Jabalpur, in Rajpur, in all these places, the freaking MTV is running, which they didn't really bother with beyond the big cities. And that was the beginning of
And this was the early days.
early days.
This was the early days when you actually had English music, right?
Yeah, it was 80-20 first, then it became 60-40 and all that crap. But yeah, slowly it became more Indianized. They had to. But there was a lot of English music.
And
Definitely.
you guys were taking on MTV, and MTV's India DJs
No, we were MTV.
were huge.
I'm
You
MTV.
broke off
They were
from that.
Channel
Yeah.
V. Huh?
I mean, I'm saying you guys broke off from that. I mean, there were some of the VJs who were like really famous at that point of time. Yeah. The opening ones are like VJ Noni and
Big. And what is the name? Danny McGill. Danny McGill. He was MTV. He was 1 year with us in '96. That's how old I am. MTV completes 25 years this year in India.
Right.
And he was great, yeah, because working with him. I remember we shot in Bangalore together. We had to shoot 6 links. We had shot 5. I told him, but 1 link is left. He said, forget it. I said, great. I mean, he set the standard for me. I never looked back after that. He said, don't waste your time when you're shooting music links. You just keep going. People think it's rocket science.
And Kamal Sidhu.
Yes, very
And
much so. Very
Kamal
much.
Sidhu.
Kamal Sidhu, Rahul Khanna.
I'm getting really nostalgic out here, man. I'm getting really nostalgic out here.
Kamal Sidhu, yeah, my God. We had a good collection of people, and all were paid, underpaid. That was the key. It was a successful company in India. You have to underpay people. Okay, let's quickly talk about, because we'll have to take a break quickly and get Silvery on. Let's
Sure.
talk a little bit about Paisa Vaisa.
Yeah.
Which of course is rocking. You want to tell us?
Yeah. So Paisa Vaisa is, thankfully, it's got a lot of love, a lot of people coming in, a lot of different stuff. So there's one thing that I've always wanted to do for Paisa Vaisa was to cover everything. I didn't want to just keep it for stock market and mutual funds. There are other podcasts doing it. There were none at that point of time, but thankfully now there are, this entire interest about personal money has just exploded. So I wanted to cover everything on Paisa Vaisa. This year we've done that. We've had stuff on lending, this whole buy now, pay later. We've had episodes on education financing, right? Now, I don't know, the people who listen to my show, they might not need a loan. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, stuff like that. There are parents out there who are sending their kids abroad. And so we did education loans, we did buy now, pay later. We did a lot of different funky new products, right? So in the next 3 months, you'll hear them. They call it democratization, right? The startup language is थोड़ा मेरे को समझने को थोड़ा मुश्किल पड़ता है, but any which way, they call it democratization, right? Which is basically saying that what you give to HNIs, the rich people, now will give to you, okay? So like for example, real estate, right? Now real estate is something that is only you need to be rich to buy it. So there's a startup that says, okay, we'll give you fractional ownership, right? Let's say that Cyrus wants to buy, I don't know, maybe a warehouse in Bhiwandi, right? Because Bhiwandi is hot, it's a logistical hub, and it's a hot area, and Amazon, Flipkart is doing well, and India is going to grow, stuff like that. And
I used to date Miss Bhiwandi in 1997, so I want to revive that relationship. Yeah, go on.
Bhiwandi was there at that point of time. Okay, sorry, I don't want to rub anyone the wrong way out here.
Bhiwandi was always there. Yeah, exactly. Be careful what you're saying. You don't know whether you're being sarcastic or actually praising.
No, I mean, come on. People will say that this South Bombay guy, Bandra boy.
Don't do that. Don't do that. That's
Okay.
What is it the word? That's streetism, roadism. Don't do roadism. Roadism बहुत खराब है.
My apologies in advance. Yeah, so
Democratization at the same time, we're evenly
yeah,
distributing the loan system so that lower income groups can also avail of it, and yet we're
yeah.
distancing them on terms of roads.
And
Yeah,
I'm the
sorry.
first guy to admit, yeah, Bandra would collapse if Bhiwandi was not there. Imagine if we couldn't get our Amazon parcels in time. Yeah, वो band बच जाता अपना. So yeah, so stuff. So that's a product where let's say that warehouse costs 1 crore. So you'll get four people. Four people will get together. Each one will put in 25 lakhs each, and they'll buy the warehouse and get the rent of that. So that's a new product in real estate. And so on that line, we've got a lot of exciting new guests, startups, non-startups, people who've got new financial products, even advisors, people who want to talk about how to make a good financial plan, because it's not like how it used to be in our time. Ki paisa pehla salary aaya, you just blow it up. My first salary came, I got a credit card and I just blew it up. Now people are like, no, I want to be, financially independent and stuff like that. So for that, obviously you need a plan. So that's been the whole range of new episodes on Paisa. I've been really lucky.
The only question when I hear these kind of things, and I've heard your podcast, I'm not criticizing it ever, is that it's such
Okay.
it's such a customized issue, no? Because ये कुछ generic बात नहीं है इसमें. You can say this class and that class and Bhiwandi versus Borivali and whatever. But end of the day, I mean, how do you plan for anyone different? I mean, it has to be very subjective to one.
That's a
Am I right? I
fantastic
mean,
point. Yeah, of course you're right. I mean, come on, what you expect and what the aspirations that you have in your life are very different from the aspirations and expectations or goals that I have in my life. That is obvious. But what is the same is the instruments. You will decide that you want to put in X, Y, and Z. Those instruments won't change. Yeah. Whether you want to send your kid abroad or whatever you want to do.
So what you're saying is the democratization effect, Anupam, is that now if my income group was not the kind of income group that used to avail of the high loans, I can still, because they're coming out with different techniques and processes, I can still avail of these loans and still try and get a flat or send my kid to Los Angeles with a limited income. Is that correct?
No. So if you think that, a UCLA MBA or a degree is going to cost less, no, that's not going to happen. Or if you think a 3 BHK in Bandra is going to cost less because of democratization, I'm waiting on that. No, it's just that there are certain instruments that make you get more for your money. Like if you're someone who doesn't want to, invest in an FD because you find that boring or you find that too low interest rate, but at the same time you don't want to take the risk of maybe a debt fund, something of that sort. So now there is something else. There'll be some new instrument that says, okay, we'll give you the safety of this and we'll give you the returns of that. Let's mix and match, right? Or let's say that you're someone who doesn't want to put in mutual funds. Okay, you're someone who wants to put in stocks, but you don't know what stocks to buy. Okay, but you've got a basic idea ki ha boss, India will do well, so I want to buy a set of stocks that will that will play on that theme that India will do well. So go to a small case, you'll find enough things out there. So the type of investment into these instruments, that has changed. Okay, but risk hasn't changed. Risk will never change. Returns haven't changed. Returns will never change. It's just a new instrument. Look at crypto. Yeah, crypto is like, I have no idea what crypto is. I haven't put a single rupee in that because I don't understand that. But look at the way it's going, man. Come on. There's 1 crore Indians. I think it was CoinSwitch which did this full page ad in Times of India. Did you ever expect crypto to sponsor Big Boss? I didn't, but there they are. They are doing full page ads on Times of India. They are sponsoring IPL. They are sponsoring Big Boss. Look at how big it's become. And till date, I have not understood crypto at all. So there you have it. So new asset
don't
classes.
Worry. I endorsed the product dressed as a peacock. Without understanding the currency. But tell me one that you're saying all this, but there's a chance you will invest in crypto. It's not like you're not one of those guys who's like, are you one of those guys who are cynical about this?
I love the concept of crypto. I love the concept of blockchain. It's just that if I have any extra money, maybe I might put 5 to 10% there, but only once it's
everybody says this यार अनुपम कि 5% साइड पे डाल दो और फिर उसके साथ कुछ भी कर सकता है. That's not gambling. That's like it's like money that you don't think about.
Yeah, that's the logic for putting in something that you don't understand, right? If you lose it all. If you gain, even if it goes up 10 times, it's not a big deal. But I'll do that only once the regulation comes in. Today the thing is that I don't know where my money is going. I don't know if my money will come back, and basically I don't understand.
The US government comes down on them. There's so many stories.
China just banned them, man. I mean, imagine China just banned them. So that's what I'm talking about. I know that when I wake up, there'll be no situation where Modi ji will say, "मैंने gold ban कर दिया." Okay, he did that with money, but he's not.
What are you saying?
He did that. He did that with money. I don't think he'll do it with stocks. कि, बहनों भाइयों आज रात
Oh
12 बजे
God.
से stocks खरीदना.
No. The demonetization के बाद the odds are even. The odds are even. Leave it.
So there you
Leave
go.
it there.
So no,
Yeah.
I love crypto. I love the whole concept of blockchain. I love that people have a new option, but it's too volatile for me. And I'm almost a senior citizen. I can't bear that volatility. That's not something that I would do.
Oh, now your age is involved in this situation. I was saying if you were 19 years old, single male with no responsibilities, you will dip your hand in the crypto world. Am I right?
I would. Yeah, that's a time when you take risks in life. You want to try something new, and it's okay if you lose your pants. When I was in college,
All sexual diseases happen between 19 and 30.
there you go.
It's a
See,
proven.
yeah, have you?
Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
When I was doing my CA, for example, I got blown up, man. As in, I didn't have a single rupee because I invested all my money at that point of time into a certain stock that went into lower circuit and never came out of lower circuit. And the broker was asking me for
Bolo, naam bolo. Naam
no
bolo.
now. No, I don't know whether
What is
it's
the
still
stock?
around. Right? I don't know. I won't.
Just say na.
I
Maybe
won't.
I'll remember it.
I won't. Somebody will
It's not
listen
a
to it and file
badnaam.
a case.
If the stock
Somebody will case.
underperforms, it's like saying, "Oh, this cricketer is not good. Let's drop him." It's not a personal thing, right? The guy's
No,
not performed. That's it.
no, man. Come on, the company might be
What?
listening to this and file a case against me. I don't want to go into all that. Anyway,
You're giving stock mother's position. There's no holiness to a stock. Come on, for God's sake, Anupam, yaar.
I think it got delisted or whatever. Anyway, so it
Okay.
went into lower circuit and the broker asked me to pay up and I was like, I don't have any money. And then a few friends had to bail me out and stuff like that. So, once that happens to you in your life, it's also good fun. You realize what stocks are. So I could handle it then. But if I put in even, 10 rupees into crypto now and it just vanishes, I don't think I can deal with that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Also, you're on advisory capacity, so it better not vanish. One last thing as we go into break, and then we'll get the AMAs on board. The book, can you share anything? You're saying you're writing a book at the moment, and
yes, yeah. So that
is it to do with the times we live in? I presume
it is exactly to answer all these questions. That the questions that I get thanks to the podcast. Should I invest in stocks? Should I invest in mutual funds? Should I do passive? Should I do active? Should I buy a house? Should I rent a house? Should I do crypto? Should I do internet? So it's basically to answer all that questions and to tell people like, listen, your money is the one thing that's going to actually fulfill all your dreams in your life. So you should have a plan, you should have a goal, and this is how you achieve it. So that's what the book is going to be about in general.
My advice, Anupam, and please take it seriously. If you want books to sell, you must have some amount of sex in it. You got sex, but you need to have sex. So now I suggest 2 to 3 pages devoted to that. I don't know how you'll bring it in. Please understand that is you're the author and the creator, so it's up to you. But believe me, it'll make a difference. Not a large chunk, just one bit.
That's very valuable advice. That is very valuable advice. Let me talk to my publishers. They have different thoughts on that, but let me see if I can get my contract changed.
There you go. Or if we're taking a quick break, we're with Anupam Gupta, and of course he's combined host along with Ambi in a show which talks about brands called Last Brand Standing, and of course world famous for Paisa Vaisa. Writing a book. He's all about money. He acts very simple. So in the background, you'll see nothing. He's made sure we can't see anything because this is the great thing about rich people. They never carry wallets. They never have money on them, and they never show any money. They're very rich. Unfortunately, the flamboyant ones, like our friend in London, Bichara, who can't come back, they are the ones you should never believe because they don't know how much money they don't have. Now we're calling in as we go into break the one and only God's finest Indian, Mr. Silvery, known as Antariksh. Now I have to find out whether we've got Antariksh.
Hello, good morning. Hello, Anupam. How are you doing?
Hi, man. Hi, Antariksh.
Just taking a sip of my delicious Slay coffee that I had just delivered to me. It's the perfect drink to wake you the hell up every single morning. I mean, by drinking it, not throwing it on yourself to wake yourself up. Don't do that. That's terrible. It's very hot. You can get hurt. Okay, Slay Coffee has some incredibly delicious options of beverages like their caramel twist latte or their long black Java, which is their Americano, their version, and tons more. My personal favorite is their Madras Mud Filter Coffee. Please try it, Anupam. Madras Mud Filter Coffee.
It's my favorite, man.
It's a lip-smacking, freshly brewed, intensely flavorful and bold coffee concentrate. A unique blend of Arabica and Robusta beans. You know I know my beans. Arabica and Robusta. Sourced from the high-altitude estates of Chikmagalur, the coffee capital of India. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I'm not saying that because I have to point to the read more and wait for the words to come so I can continue. The coffee capital of India, Chikmagalur, of course. I love it especially for its full-bodied choco caramel notes and sweet residual aftertaste. It's just wow, guys. Slay Coffee still slaying it. So order India's best rated coffee today on Swiggy and Zomato. Slay Coffee. Silvery, any questions on money?
Yeah.
Anupam is free at the moment. We might as well exploit it.
Questions on
Otherwise you'll
money.
have to- yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
if he doesn't
right.
take money, it'll be wrong. Because how is he going to make money then? Yeah. So
Right.
do you have a question? He's a big crypto fan, huh, by the way, Anupam. And again, you've not actually said no to crypto. You just said you personally don't believe it's right now the
Yeah.
right thing for you. But you would not advise someone yes or no, would you?
Who, me? For what? For
If
for
Silvery
crypto?
wants to invest for
Huh.
crypto, would you say a yes or a no, or you would be like, boss, not my decision?
Oh man, I can't do recommendations. Come on, you know, I don't have any. You need to have some degree, some certification to give like specific recommendations. So no, I can't recommend whether he should or whether he shouldn't. You figure out your stuff on your own. That's why I've got my show. That's why I've got my podcast. Listen to my podcast and then make up your own mind, please. मेरे से मत पूछना.
Which is the same thing because you'll be making up your mind, listen to what he has to say. Anyway,
Yeah.
Silvery,
The guests have
EMAs.
to say. Big difference. The guests have to say, not me.
So they have to filter, to use the coffee jargon, from what you're saying and figure it out themselves. So they translate what you have said in a sense.
And we did like we've done tons of crypto. Yeah, we've got all the crypto guys on Pesa. We've got CoinSwitch Kube, we've got Coinbase, we've got CoinDCX. Everything is out there, and that also I think we did it in this year. We did one back in 2018 also, 2017, 2018. I think we did like stuff on crypto. That point of time, people didn't know much, but then crypto went out of fashion. This year we've done a lot, and I think we've also got a sponsor, a crypto sponsor on our show. So why not?
Oh, so we changed our answer. Please invest in crypto. This particular one, the name and flash on the
Add the
screen.
disclaimer, please. Add the disclaimer in the end.
You've taken Slay Coffee. I'm taking
At your
crypto.
own risk.
What the hell, yaar? You took mine. I'll take yours. Huh?
Actually, not okay. Let me just get back to you with the terms of the sponsorship deal, and maybe we can figure something out. Okay. So, yeah.
Follow me at Instagram and Twitter on Bored Brocha. I'm so bored. I need your help. I need your love. I need your touch. Okay, just follow me.
All right, cool. AMAs. This first one comes in from Gaurav Pilania. He says, "Good morning, Cyrus, Silvery, and Anupam. I have a question for Anupam. How do you see Evergrande's situation affecting global markets? Do you think one should be a bit cautious now?"
One should always be cautious. Yeah. Come on. This Evergrande situation. So there are two things out here. If you look at the size and the exposure of the situation, it basically affects the offshore debt market of China, right? And there are a lot of big names out there that have invested in Evergrande debt. But there's also China. The government can do whatever they want. They can just do a bailout. Remember how this crisis started? The Chinese government introduced something called 3 red lines, which is that they said that if you're a real estate, for a certain sector of the economy, you can't have XYZ debt, you can't have XYZ whatever balance sheet. I mean, they laid restrictions on how you can extend your balance sheet, and Evergrande didn't make it in that cut, and that's why they are in trouble. Chinese government will sort this out, right? Because that's how that government operates, and they've had plenty of these. Look at the track record in the last 1 year. Look at what's happened in China in the last 1 year. They've gone after the technology companies. Okay, they've cracked down on them, and you've had this massive fall in market value of very large China companies, right? But what happened globally? We just moved on, and the same thing, in my opinion, is what is going to happen out here. You'll definitely have some shakes and wobbles, and markets will be nervous. But the main thing for the markets globally still remains inflation, right? And that also US inflation, US bond yields, and stuff like that. So if I have to be cautious, I would rather look at US bond yields, inflation, what's happening out there, than the China situation. The China situation, my own guess is that it will sort itself out in the next 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I don't expect it to explode into a Lehman crisis kind of a situation. That's my view.
Yeah, also, I think Evergrande can move to Afghanistan. It's a fresh market. Looking good. Nobody knows anything about what's going to happen there.
Maybe even Sakinaka, right? Andheri East has got some land out there, maybe that they might want to pick.
My word, yaar. Tu roadism ka aadmi hai. You are connecting. I am going from Afghanistan. You've gone to Sakinaka in the same breath. Huh? So look at the correlation you're doing here.
I mean,
Bhiwandi is after you. Now Sakinaka is after you, sir.
I would have welcomed them in Bandra. Bandra, if you look at Palinaka looks like Afghanistan now, man. You should come over and have a look. You've got hills, you've got valleys, you've got holes, you've got everything blown up out there, man. Come on, So yeah, please come to Bandra and check our roads out.
When I do this South Mumbai bashing and you're doing Bandra bashing, I think we tend to do this for some reason. Other people around me tell me, why don't you go and live in Sakinaka? Then talk. Then we'll say how much you're crying for Bandra, for example.
Yeah. But Palinaka says that when I want to grow up, I want to be like Sakinaka, So come on. We are all aspirants out here. We can only aspire to that.
Oh God, it was a financial conversation. It's down to abusing the roads of Mumbai. Go on, next one.
All right. Next one, another one from Gaurav Pilania. This is a great question. He says, I'm a 24-year-old and I would like to consult a financial advisor. How do I pick one? I have heard about fee-only advisors who are not affiliated with any MF.
Oh, what a fantastic question.
Fee-only advisors,
Gaurav, you've asked. I'll explain that. I'll explain that. So, you're onto something out here, Gaurav. I'm really happy that you've actually decided to go to consult a financial advisor. Unfortunately, the field is a little bit new. So finding someone, it's like saying, like if Cyrus has a trainer, like what trainer does he have, or a doctor or something of that sort. You need to find someone that fits your needs. Okay. And you're a little bit young, to consult a financial advisor. It's a great decision, but I'm not sure you might find the right one right now. We've had a couple of them on Paisa. We've had Avinash Luthria, we've had Gursimran Singh. It's just that these guys, financial advisors, typically, go after rich people like Cyrus. So, Cyrus's net worth is some 5,000 crores and all that, and he has a lot of questions on how to handle my money. But for a 24, you're a 24-year-old. I'm not saying that I don't know how much money you have, but I'm just saying that typically financial advisors tend to look at that aspect a little bit more. If you're someone who's 24-year-old, my suggestion to you would be check out the apps. Okay, there are a lot of financial planning apps that are out there. We had ET Money on Paisa, which sorts out your mutual funds. There are a lot of others. We had Kuvera, we've had ET Money, and we've had a lot of other platforms on our show. So check out these platforms, then you can just Google them out and find someone that's comfortable for you and see if that works for you. Okay. If you need a financial advisor, we had a guest on our show called IFA Now. That's Independent Financial Advisor, IFA Now. Okay, you can listen to the episode and see if that's what you want. They're a platform where you can ask your questions on money and finance, and there are a bunch of people who will answer that for you. But I wish I had, a black and white answer. We said, go to this person and give your money. I don't do that, right? I don't recommend people either on products, either on my podcast or out here. But there you go. Suggestion number one, check out the platform, check out the robos, people who don't really charge too much and can handle your basic queries, right? Like how much you want to put in equity, how much you want to put in debt, what kind of emergency corpus should you need. You'll find an app for that. Check some of those out. If not, look at the platforms that are out there that aggregate financial advisors, and maybe you can find somebody out there. I have heard about fee-only advisors who are not affiliated with any mutual fund. Okay, fee-only advisors, great concept. They charge you a flat fee. They'll say, okay, for $5,000, this is what we'll do. Think about it like you go to a CA to file a return, right? He'll say, whatever your return, you might earn like, hundreds of crores like Cyrus does, or you could earn, maybe, a few lakhs like I do and don't even make it to the minimum tax level, but I'm going to charge both you guys the same. Okay. So fee only is basically they charge you a fee. Then there are people who charge you a fee that's based on your investment value, right? Like if Cyrus says that I've got 1,000 crores in land, I've got 10,000 crores in stocks, and they'll say, okay, we'll charge you 1% of that. And Cyrus will be saying like, 1%, that's not much for me. And then there are people who will tell you that, okay, listen, I'm going to, whatever your net worth is, I'm going to charge you whatever, $5,000 to give you a basic financial plan. And you go with it, run with it, do whatever you want. So those are the two different types of fee-only advisors. Check out what's relevant for you.
There's also out-of-the-box thinking, Anupam, which we can advise a young man, Gaurav, if you're still listening. And that is, you can give it to another institution, like the Osho Commune in Pune. You give it to them, they invest your money, and, you work for them for a little while. And then you may get the money back also with interest. Or you may not. I'm not sure.
You call him Silvery. What is Silver? What silver? What is that?
As a financial analyst, as a guy who lives and breathes money and valuables like gold, silver, I mean, you should know. When he was born, immediately the house they made a lot of money on silver. Silver, in fact, exceeded gold's expectations in terms of consistency for that whole decade. And so that's his pet name. It's you look at every third episode has the explanation. Please listen to Cyrus.
Silvery.
Yeah. Silvery.
So basically, my brother is Goldie at home. When I was born, there was a debate at home whether to call me Richie or Silvery, and I told Cyrus this one day, and since then I'm Silvery on this podcast.
I can see why your shows are super hit, Cyrus.
They went with Richie. Anupam, the elder brother is Goldie. The guy is Richie. I mean, he should have been. He has to be Silvery, yeah. He has to be Silvery. I fought this tooth and nail. I'll take it to the Adelaide Pop system to the top. अगर गोल्डी है बड़े भाई तो छोटे भाई का नाम होगा Silvery. It's just common sense, and I don't define.
Now
logic.
I get it. Now,
You get it.
please,
Right,
please,
right.
please add the disclaimer that none of this should be considered as investment advice, and past performance is not indicative of future.
And Anupam, let me tell you, now that you're talking in the sophisticated language of finance, there is a third person. They didn't have a brother, but they have a dog whose name is Bronzy. So Goldie, Silvery, and Bronzy. Bronzy, show Bronzy. Is he there?
No, we had to have him put down last week. Sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
Anupam is lying. It's
He
all
does
a
know
joke.
dog.
You don't know what show you're on, man. We're just a bunch of liars.
Okay,
Like bad Bakra. You caught him for a second. He felt so bad. Like, oh, Rocha has again opened his mouth.
yeah, I mean,
cool.
let's
go back to
Follow.
the
What next?
analyst.
All right, cool.
Find the right analyst.
This next one comes in from Tarun Kaushik. He says, "Hi Anupam, just curious, what does B50 your Twitter handle mean?"
Okay,
Age.
hi, Tarun. It's damn simple. Yeah. B for Bandra and 50 is the pin code 400050. See, okay, the story behind that is damn simple. Yeah. I joined Twitter back in 2007. Okay, in 2007, Twitter was very different from what it is now. Okay, you like when I joined Twitter, my handle was Bombay Addict. Okay, which was my blogging handle from when I used to blog. I used to blog back in 2002, 3. So
Before blogging became fashionable.
where the bloggers moved to Twitter, and I became Bombay Addict. BOMBAYADDICT. So when I used to tweet, okay, at that point of time when you replied to people, and if you had those Nokia old, before the iPhones came in, you had to type out @BOM Bombay Addict. Okay, that's the first thing. And second thing is that would count in your 140 characters. So people were like, dude, seriously, Bombay Addict, what were you even thinking? So I said, yeah, okay, fine, whatever. I'll just shorten it. So I shortened it to the maximum extent possible. By the way, at that time, Twitter would give you the option of having even 2 characters in your handle. I went for 3, but there was an option of 2. So I just thought, and I thought, okay, Bandra and pin code. So B for Bandra and 50 for the pin code. B50. That's it. Very simple and slightly, random explanation. I wish there was something more.
B50. I thought it was age, but then I don't want to get into it because it may offend Anupam also.
No,
maybe-
I turn 50 next year, man. Come on, Goldens, so that it'll become even more relevant next year.
But then you have to keep changing it. B51, B52. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think I don't want to move my location that much. Yeah, people pay for this pin code.
I just off the record tell you, Bhivandi is out, Sakinaka is out. I'm just telling off the record. You don't even go there. Okay, they're waiting with stones. Huh. Can you do one more?
Maybe I'll come to your part of the town, man.
मैं तो घर पे मम्मी डैडी के साथ हूँ. What's the point? You don't want that. It's so slow.
How does that matter? The pin code matters, not who you stay with.
What is my pin code?
That's
400006. It sounds like a jail or something.
C6. I like the sound of that. It's almost like a explosive or something.
Yeah, it is.
C6. Yeah.
Like a pre-workout drink. C6.
CB6 or whatever. Chalo, theek hai. What else have you got, Antariksh?
Next.
Next one comes in from Harvesh Kasad. He says, "Hello all. What factors made the Indian stock market hold up its own during the lockdown when the economy was crumbling?"
Sort of discussed that, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any one explanation here. The popular reasons that people had given at that point of time was that, listen, this time it's not a national lockdown. Okay. Like last year was a national lockdown. First. Second, we've got the vaccine. Okay. Third, eventually we know this does stabilize. And fourth is that the economy is not being as hit this time as it was last time. So these are the 3 or 4 reasons that experts gave for the market holding up during this second lockdown. I mean, this time around the economy was not crumbling. The numbers bear it out, right? Last year, we know that in the first quarter of last year, you had a 24% fall in GDP last year. This year, it was not that bad, so the stock markets were right to that extent. And we know that after every fall, the economy will sort its way out in the future, and stock markets are future looking. So in this year when the second wave hit us, it was disastrous for a lot of us. Okay, like I was just saying. But the market doesn't look at the personal cost. The market only looks at profits, at cash flows, and future expectations. And it figured at that point of time that we've seen this story before. We know how it ends, but we've got the vaccine this time. We'll sort our way out, and that's the reason why the stock market held up. Honestly, when back in March, April, May, even I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea what was happening. But yeah, there you are.
Silvery owns a dance bar in Andheri. I don't know, Midnight Queens, and he kept it open. The shutters were down. You had to
But
use a
social
code in order to
distancing.
get in.
Yeah, you got to maintain social distancing though.
Like you could not put money inside her thing and all that. You had to just throw the money, like in
Yeah,
the old
correct.
Hindi films, where you throw the chilla and all that. So it was back to
Midnight
that.
Queen, Midnight Queen, I think the name is that, and that's also at Sakinaka. You said
Ah,
Andheri, right?
Saga, तेरे को पता है?
Yeah.
Ah, Mr. Analyst.
Come on.
So obviously
Yeah,
you don't work all day, huh? All day.
Obviously,
Sometimes you
man,
go
come
for
on.
a little
Sakinaka
Midnight
again,
Queen.
man. Come on.
True reference. And back to again, it's a dance bar with ladies, and you're only worried about the road it's on. You've got this huge
That
issue.
road
with
is
people.
horrible, by the way. That
Horrible.
road is horrible.
worst-
yeah.
In the
worst road.
monsoon, you'll
For
never
sure.
leave. You literally never leave once you're in.
Yeah.
God, that means
What
all
else?
three are Midnight Queen. We are accused of all kinds of corrupt practices, and now it's on air. And your mom is watching the show, Silvery. Batao, what is going to be the bahana? You were dropping your friend Lokesh. He was
Yeah,
lost.
correct.
Yeah. Good
That's
thinking.
exactly
Good
it.
thinking.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
All right.
One more.
Next one comes in from Anish Bhardwaj. He says, question for Anupam. How do you see INR versus USD shaping up over the coming decade?
No, man. I don't. My guess is it'll just follow the long term trend. Long term trend says 2% per year. I don't see any major changes in that. There's nothing that's going to happen. The only time when you had a major trend shift was back in 2003 to 2008 when you actually had the rupee gaining strength. Okay, I don't see that happening now. I think that right now, at least in the near term, I still feel that we're going to need more dollars than rupees.
US dollars, you see US dollars mutual fund, all the same thing, 2%, 3%. No point to it. Yeah. Okay, just good to know.
I
Good
don't
to
see
know.
any major change in
Yeah.
the trend, but that's my opinion. Yeah.
Anyway, petrol beat the dollar. Petrol went to 100 first. We all thought dollar will go to 100 and all that. That never happened. Petrol went, diesel went, everybody went. US is still buck up, US, buck up.
And
Where are
also
you, yeah?
small disclaimer. I'm not a forex expert. I'm not any expert, but anyway, I'm just going by past trends, and that was my opinion.
I can get you the forex king of Bombay, Gautam Ashra. He's a personal friend. Not a problem, Silvery. We can, if Anupam doesn't mind, we can have him on the show. He's the king
Really?
of forex.
I
Yeah.
think you should go.
And I
for
love
that, yeah.
forex conversations because you and I want to always migrate every 3 days. And one of the people on the panel here abuses every road around him. So I think we should take him with us. He's available. Huh.
Silvery does that, is it?
Yeah, Silvery.
Yeah, correct. Sakinaka, hit Sakinaka.
Midnight Queen के बाहर parking नहीं मिलता. That's his thought.
Yeah.
Told you.
Inside is not as important. Outside is more important. Couldn't park the car.
There you go.
Scarred for life. Chalo, one last.
All right. Yeah, sure. This one
Yeah.
comes in from Atman Singh. He says, hello, Anupam, Cyrus, and Antriksh. I recently got a new job and I am finding filing taxes very cumbersome. Any suggestions for an absolute beginner?
But if he's got a job, it's almost like most of it goes from the pagar. Anupam, what is the answer to this?
Yeah, Cyrus has got a point out there. That's the best part of having your job, right? Your
We
Form
have a
16,
problem because
yeah.
we get different money from different places.
and
He's
we
got one friggin' pagar.
and we have to figure out our TDS because if we don't, give the right TDS at the right
GST, TDS,
advantage
every
of that.
bloody thing. Yeah.
At the right time, we are going to get screwed by the tax in the end. So yeah, Atman, talk to your company, see if they can help you out there. The company tax and accounts departments are normally the best guys to give you good advice on how to file your return, how to save taxes, and the various documents that you have. We did a few episodes on Paisa with ClearTax. Okay, with ClearTax, I think is India's largest online filing of tax returns. Not recommending them, but I'm just saying that they were on a show. You might want to just listen to their episode and check out the services that they have. But there you go. Number one, talk to your accounts and your accounts department and see if they can help you out. 2, check out the online services that are there for filing a return. 3, my own personal favorite is learn this on yourself. Okay, because you learn a lot of stuff and that might hold you in the future, right? If you're someone and you said that you've just got a new job, and people these days keep on switching their jobs very often, right? And that might help you in figuring out how a tax return works. What are the various heads? What are the slabs? What are the deductions? It is a bit of hard work, but believe me, that knowledge stays on with you. Okay, so those are the three things that I would say.
But Anupam, why can't they just give us what they call the uniform tax code or whatever, where basically you put all the tax in one basket? It's really, I mean,
Well,
all it does is
they-
encourage people to think how not to pay it because you're giving
They-
me 7 different streams.
They took one step towards that, yeah, Cyrus, last year. Last year, the government said that here is a single simple tax rate for you. It's a lower tax rate. If you're willing to let go of all your exemptions, then this is the rate. Now, the problem is it kind of complicates that, right? Because now you're calculating both things. That's what I did. I calculated that if I'm under the old system and if I'm under the new system. Now, that takes some amount of effort. But I found that I'm actually better off in the old system, right? So I think it's a little bit early. Ideally,
So the government took no step of any purpose in the end of the day because you went back to the old system in 2 seconds ke baad. Unbelievable.
probably did. I
Yeah.
think it's a little bit earlier. Our deduction system that we have in India right now is still a little bit complicated. It helps for example, it helps house buyers a lot. It helps people put into PPF. PPF for the government is a large pot of money, right? So you can't just one fine day wake up and say we'll remove all the exemptions and lower the tax rate, right? Because that's how taxes work. Yeah.
But if, I'm just saying if we pay our taxes, all complicated structure, Atman is completely right, spot on in the beginning of his career. As he does well in life, he'll suffer more. He has no idea about that. That's the truth. Sadly, I mean, you're going to have to spend a day a month just like the Americans do and all, at least just looking at everything. And I'm just thinking that why, as we get, go into the future, why can't we start using the tax money that we are paying? For example, if a cop comes, I can call him and say, boss, I pay your salary. Just get that bhaji and bring it to my car. Can we do that kind of thing? Or is that too obnoxious?
No, I don't think cops should buy bhaji. I think that's one thing both of us can agree on, unless you're
Trust them to choose the right one, the ripeness of the vegetable and all that. I understand that's the issue.
I think that we are moving towards a system where we have more income taxpayers, right? For a country of whatever, we've got about 135 crore people.
1.3 billion.
And
we have 25,000 taxpayers. Yes.
Income tax. Remember, there's a very big difference. In this country, everybody pays tax, okay? So I think what we're doing right now is we're trying to broaden the base of income taxpayers. I guess once it's large enough, once there are sufficient people covered in that, maybe you'll also move to a regime where tax rates are lowered. I think we will move towards that. Come on, look at, in the emergency back in the 80s and all that, those mad times.
97%. Yeah.
Come on, and
77,
right now,
78, yeah.
For a lot of us, for a lot of us who depend on podcast revenues, they either don't even make it to the minimum tax level, or if they do, their effective tax rate is, I don't know, 10-20% types. But if you're, a CEO or someone earning in crores.
So once again, Anupam, what you're saying is you're a communist who hates the roads of Mumbai, who's talking about wealth management and how to make money. This is a real paradox, boss.
That is the most accurate description of myself that I've heard for a very long time. I'm going to use it in my LinkedIn profile, okay? I'm actually going to use it in my LinkedIn profile, okay? Maybe someone will give me a job.
It's like saying, a person without arms and legs is actually a very good swimmer. It's not an impossibility. It just sounds ridiculous, but it's not an impossibility. Yeah. Silvery is just nodding his head. I think he's decided he's going to go to someone else.
Agreeing with you.
Hey, he's going to file his tax returns, I guess. The last date is 31st of December this time. Imagine.
I like that Atman Singh's question a lot because these guys are fresh. It's literally like the guy who gets married for the first time and he's all happy and all that. Because we know ki aage rasta mein kya hone wala hai, and he has no idea. So yeah.
MTV Bakra. Remember that?
It is. Yeah, MTV Bakra, 10,000 rupees a month or whatever, simply tax deducted at source, and he's worried about everything. Wait till he makes 15 lakhs a month and he's getting it from different places, and then suddenly, boom, he'll be calling you up every 5 minutes. Anupam, what about GST to be given to both parties? How do I handle this one? And I do.
Oh, GST. Man, don't get me started on that.
Really? First, I thought it was another train station, but then, much more. Chalo, guys, Anupam.
You know what I learned about GST? Follow. I learned that the minute you raise your invoice, you're liable to pay GST. It doesn't matter तुमको पैसा आया कि नहीं. Invoice raise किया यार, boss GST भरो.
You're in the system.
Client पैसा देगा नहीं देगा.
Although it's supposed to be a crime, it's supposed to be a crime if he doesn't give it. So you can prosecute him. How that works after that is your problem. I don't know. Yeah.
But pay the tax first.
Yeah, we middle class, we keep paying the tax first, and the other people are laughing at us, saying, "Ha ha ha." I've worked with so many people who say, "GST क्यों? हम लोग नहीं भरते हैं." And then
pay in
the
cash.
argument is, it's like two types of human beings. What are you going to do? Literally. Chalo. All
Go
right.
on the potholes. Yeah.
It's been a great show, and already we are getting calls from people in Bhiwandi and Sakinaka asking if you will come for chief guest duties during Diwali and Dussehra. So what do I say, and how much will you charge?
No. No, I'm not available for any chief guest duty. I don't charge anything. Please, mujhe maaf kar do, boss. Please. I love Bhiwandi. I love the vada pav out there. I love Sakinaka. I love the okay, I love the vada pav there also. There you go.
You can just mention Midnight Queen. You must have had some 5 minutes of happiness in the entire life there.
That's his business. So I'll leave that to him.
All right. Okay, so Silvery, it's time to say goodbye to Anupam and you, because me and Kaustubh are working on $1 million project here on the side.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for having me, Cyrus. This was a lot of
Our
fun. Thank
pleasure,
you so much.
Anupam. Always fun.
Yeah, see you around.
Bye-bye. See
Thanks,
you.
Antariksh. Bye.
Okay, catch us on any of the podcasting apps, please. We beg you, we need you. Send us your questions on Twitter on Cyrus Says In, or you can email us, even if you're not female, on whatcyrussays@gmail.com.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast, Aswin, DJ and Varun talk about Virat Kohli's shocking announcement about giving up the Indian T20 and RCB captaincy. And they review the opening match of the IPL between the Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings. On Advertising is Dead, Varun is joined by musicians Hanita Bhambri and Kevin Fernando, along with Arjun Koladi from Spotify to talk about the shifts in the music space. The latest Cadbury ad remix sparks an interesting thought in Siddharth's mind. Is this a hack by advertisers to cut the clutter, or are they running out of content? Join the Simplified gang, Chuck, Naren, Shrikeet and Tony as they discuss why all platforms are trying to be like each other. And on Tere Mere Raste, Keshu takes us to a city known as the Rare Desert Oasis, Bikaner. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. It really does help us. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Intel vPro. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood,
Get accustomed to womanhood.
enjoy the experience of sisterhood,
Might get to wifehood
or not, choose motherhood,
or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
earn a livelihood,
Change the neighborhood.
and get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha,
And me, Ayushi,
on a journey from station starting point.
to station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station, and hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.